Where were the Americans that are protesting this? Go into any kitchen of any restaurant. How come nobody is being imprisoned? How come nobody is being fined? How come nobody's being caught? Because everybody is profiting from it, which means the average American is a fake, and so is this whole government. God bless the illegal aliens. They're the only decent people in this country. This is good. It's been so phenomenal, so unbelievable that all over the world, Jews, Gentiles, Puerto Ricans, Germans, Nazis, everybody in the world was dying to see me, and I made stops all over the world. It's none of your business. I went there, I don't tell everybody everything.
I don't think he feels any need to hold back and really restrain himself anymore, and I wish we could hear from more people like that. It's nice, it's a good point of view, and one we just don't get very often.
He has something to say about everything.
The white guy, the Jewish guy, the Italian guy is usually the waiter. He's the guy that's not working. He's the guy who just writes the order. The guy who's working and sweating back and forth every time you get a dish or take a dish or sweat. You see a guy jumping, sweating and running, it's always a Mexican.
Jackie, there is always a surprise. Actually, the element is just there.
Whoops, something fell out.
Yeah, Jackie, we're going to start this segment over. Just this segment, okay?
Okay.
And I'm the assistant director today. It's funny with him and his producer, Jill. I'm normally out on the floor on camera, and she's constantly trying to get him to talk about this subject or that subject instead of the subject he is talking about. And so she writes up these big signs, and she's very emphatic to wave the signs around, and half the time she ends up kicking my camera while I'm online as she's trying to get a message to him. So the director yells at me for shaking the camera, and really it's Jill kicking my camera.
Hi, I'm Jill Rosenfeld. I produce the show. Okay, that's enough. Let me see.
Why can't they turn off the air conditioning?
They can't.
Remember, like, I'm familiar with Morris Avenue.
Fucking son of a bitches. Can't make it warmer here. Impossible.
Last time they gave us a heater. Maybe they got a heater.
Oh, yeah. Let me get him.
They just brought it. Wait, you got a hit.
Did you make it high? Make it higher.
Higher ready, yeah.
That's not going to do any better.
Well, yeah.
Does that do better if you put it up higher?
Sure.
Yeah.
It'll get...
Heat rises.
It's 90 degrees.
Heat rises?
Sure. So then why
So
not
if it
leave on
rises,
the
it will
floor?
be on the floor if it rises.
So now it's going above us. No, now it's going above us if it's rising. It's better if it's on the floor. Now we're missing, our feet are going to be cold.
Are you married?
Divorced.
You have 2 children?
Yeah, how did you know?
I know my business. I can even tell you their ages. One is 7 and one is 9.
No.
You
ready?
Yeah.
One is 25.
Yeah.
And one is 18.
That's what I figured. Boy, was I far off. Was I a million miles off with this one?
To be honest with you, there's not much teleprompter with Jackie. You give Jackie a topic and he just runs with it.
This is something you heard from me, and I'm the only person who will tell it to you, because I'm the only honest person left. And if I'm not telling the truth, it's also not important. The main thing is I showed up. And Baldwin is a great talker himself. Bravo, thank you. I'm glad you noticed. I'm a hit. This man doesn't care that I'm putting together fantastic information. When people see me, they can't control themselves.
Jackie, man, I think he's very funny. I think he's a very funny man. He's an absolutely very funny man. That's what I think.
Jackie's makeup, it was last season. Jackie's good to work with at times.
I haven't seen you. I missed you.
Well, you didn't miss me that much. You're still having an affair with your husband. You left me out.
One thing he likes me to do a lot is make him dark. Too dark. Dark enough he looks like Gandhi. He does his own hair. He does his own cutting. A couple times he'll come in, he'll have the piece pulled out just like this. He'll twist it just like this. He'll say, come in here, you got a pair of scissors? And okay.
Are you excited to be back?
Well, this show, I'll be honest with you, hasn't made that big a difference in my life that I should get that excited.
Yeah, but you know,
There's the comparatively small audience that it hasn't made really any significant difference in my career.
It's big for them.
If I perform at a bar mitzvah and it's a big thing to them, does it mean that because I performed at a bar mitzvah it's going to make a difference to me? I'm happy to.
Do you perform bar mitzvahs?
Not too often, because bar mitzvahs people come to just find it, the food. It's a food festival. It's a food. It's more like a food orgy. You would think it's one big collective orgasm.
So you're darker. So you're darker
A
than
little
me.
darker. Perfect.
Look like Gandhi.
How long you been going with this guy?
On and off? On and off since 1990.
No kidding. You never.
Seriously,
Just the first time you got engaged to him?
This is a physical trainer?
Yeah, he actually he manages a fitness store. He sells fitness equipment.
It just looks like you won't have too much of a sex problem. Even the story about the wine is a fake. They don't have the best wines in the world. Nobody thinks it's the best. But because it has a French name, we respect it as the best. The publicity has overcome reality here.
You know, I've heard Jackie talk about the French before, and you know, I really like French wine, and I particularly love French champagne, and so I can't agree with him about the French wine and champagne.
I think French wine stinks, and I would, if I was a wino, I'd be buying American wine, because I wouldn't give the French the satisfaction of buying their wine.
Everybody knows that one of the main reasons why the French economy stinks and why their unemployment is almost 3 times as high as ours and their productivity levels is 1/3 what ours is because of exactly these type of socialistic programs. Because it's a preposterous socialistic program to guarantee a person a permanent job. One of the reasons that these people stink on their job and the productivity level is so low is because you can't fire anybody. Once a person knows he can't be fired, what good is he as a worker? If you took a body of 100 people and you picked the ones who are most productive and the ones who are doing the best job and doing the hardest job and doing the job we need most, you know what would happen? You would be left with a country only of Mexicans and everybody else would be thrown out. Because compared to the Mexicans, everybody else is either not working or working on some easy job or doing nothing for a living or collecting money. There's some way they're doing either very little or nothing. But every Mexican, you see, is working like a horse and getting almost nothing for it.
Well, the Americans probably would do the same amount of work if they got paid a decent pay.
Okay, what do you think about the Mexican immigrants coming here to work?
I think that's a great idea. Let them open the doors. Let them pour in. Yeah, let them come. Americans don't want to work.
Hello, sweetheart. How are you feeling? I heard you're getting engaged.
Yes, I
You got engaged or you're getting engaged?
No, I got engaged. You want to see the ring?
You're not happy with him?
No, I'm
Yeah. Doesn't bother you? You lost some weight? You lost some weight since I saw you?
Yeah.
You lost about 4 or 5 pounds.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're very good.
Fantastic.
I did lose.
Because I saw that you were terrible. You looked terrible before. I was very embarrassed. I was so embarrassed how terrible she looked.
The things that he comes out with sometimes do surprise me, and I'm like, are we allowed to air that? But yeah, other than that, he's pretty cool.
It's fun working with him. He was one of the biggest names we've had in our studio, so it's kind of fun working on the show. He's a little conservative for me, particularly with Bush. I'm an anti-Bush.
The Democrats attacked Bush even before he did anything, and if he did nothing, and just because he's living is enough an excuse to attack him. They just attack him for living. If he had any decency, they feel he should either throw himself out of a window or at least give up the job. Don't walk around with a job when there's a Democrat that wants to be president in this country. Who the hell is he to be president? Just because they voted for him? What's more amazing to me is that they attack him before they even know what he said. Every time say Bush is about to talk, Pelosi shows up and he says he's wrong. About what? Whatever it is. But he didn't talk yet. That's no excuse.
I got to tell you, I don't like Bush. Our president. I think the man is mentally disturbed. I think he's emotionally disturbed. Anybody, I mean, his priorities in life. Anybody who would care in the middle of a war, in the middle of everything else, he has to decide on who's going to get married. Who's going to get married? Whether two people love each other and want to get married is more important than anything else that's going on in the world. This one's killing this one. This one's killing this one. We're going to kill this one. We want to take over. We're a democracy and we want to take over another country? I don't understand that. I think the man is mentally disturbed. I think he needs to be put in a straitjacket.
Evidence. Every time they accuse Bush of doing something wrong, they have no evidence. They just They believe in democracy, except where Bush is concerned. They believe in civil liberties, but not for Bush. He's the only one not entitled to the same civil liberties they want for everybody else. Everybody else, they say there should be proof against them before you would threaten them with anything, because you're compromising their civil liberties. But they don't know of anything Bush did wrong, but his civil liberties don't count. How about his civil liberties?
Sometimes I think he's overly defensive for Bush, because I think Bush, and I think that 2/3 of the people in the country agree with me, that Bush has blown it.
From what I hear and from what I've seen and what I know about Jackie, I know that he could possibly say anything at any time.
Even when Monica Lewinsky found a stain on the dress, they said, "You see that? Bush did that too." But I thought Clinton was Clinton might have done it, but if Bush had any decency, you should have called him up and should have said to him, "Don't do this." He could have told him not to do it, but he sat there, he kept his mouth shut, and if not for him, the stain never would have happened. Clinton was waiting to hear from Bush. When he didn't hire anything, he said, "All right, I'll take a chance."
We need people like Jackie Mason to remind us what we all really have and what we all really are.
Every man who's working for less than a minimum wage or working for less money than the guy standing next to him on the same job is there because that worker is a product of a crooked boss who's a lowlife, a fraud, and a thief. And he's robbing the country, he's robbing the tax system, he's robbing you, and he's robbing every worker who deserves to make more money. Who's the next caller? How do you do?
Okay.
I could just say that 3,000 letters came in. 99% were thrilled to see me back. There was 2 letters that told me
To go to hell.
there was only 2 letters that told me to drop dead. One told there were 2 letters against me. One told me to drop dead, and one said, I hope you would drop dead too, but not right away. One is willing to let me live for another week or so. Did you know we won 3 awards for the show?
Three tellies.
Is that unusual?
No, it's tremendous.
It's not so.
Stern's only got 1 telly. You got 2 up on him.
Is that right?
That's right, and he's proud as heck about his.
This is the first time in the 37 years of television since the existence of this award that one show got 3 awards within 1 season. 3 awards, 3 telly awards. The Telly Awards is the most prestigious award. All this is the truth.
Want to hear about
And
that?
you have to, you know what you have to do to get these Telly Awards? You have to show up.